your fantasy football league as part of Fantasy Football Draft Month on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Welcome back into Fantasy Sports tonight here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. I'm Paul Kelly, and it's time for another Fantasy Football League Spotlight. And we welcome in now Mike Chapman from Chaps AFFL. This is a fantasy football league based in the Philadelphia area. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing very well. Happy to have you here on the show. Always thrilled to talk to guys who are playing in local leagues. I mean, this is what it's all about. This is why we do what we do here on the channel. It's all about guys like you playing in their local fantasy football leagues. And the league that you're in there, Mike, was first established back in 1994. So this thing's been around for quite some time, and it was actually started by your dad. And it says here that you joined when you were just a kid.
Yeah, my dad and his buddies kind of got me in. They had an opening, and I begged to get into it, and that's kind of what got me into fantasy sports, and it's kind of took on a life of its own. And fast forward to kind of where we are today, we've always wanted to do an auction league. So doing a redraft league all these years, and 2014 we kind of dispersed, and some of those guys came over, and I brought over some of my friends as well, and we turned it into an auction league.
So from the guys who were there with your dad and started the league in 1994, how many of those guys are still around and in the league?
There's four of them, for the core, the kind of the original four who kind of put the league together and then brought on kind of coworkers that they worked with. And then there's probably about myself and 7 of my friends as well, Mike, that I've known from college and whatnot.
Okay. And what was the thinking when you guys, because as you said, you guys were a redraft, snake draft kind of league, as most leagues in America are, and you did make the decision to change it to an auction league. What was behind that decision?
Yeah, well, it was actually kind of led by me because a handful of us that are in that league, we actually do a Dynasty Fantasy Baseball auction league, and we've been doing that for, 10 years. So we we're talking, and I kind of just stepped up and said, why don't I run an auction league for football and give it a shot? So that's kind of how we made the switch. We've all done redraft leagues for, a long time, but we wanted to try something different, and now we've kind of got where we really enjoy the auction style of the football league more than we did the redraft.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the auction league that I really like is that you have to make a conscious decision on every single player that's going to get drafted. You're in a redraft league, a regular snake draft, there are some guys that depending on your draft position, Mike, that you're just going to have no shot at. But in the auction, you literally have to make a conscious decision on every single player. So kudos to you guys. I think more and more leagues are doing that now. Reading about your league here, Mike, one of the things that stood out to me is the prizes that you award, not only for the championship team and all those kinds of things, but you guys also award something for the worst team in the league. And this is a family program here, but we'll call it the Golden Phallus Trophy.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the unfortunate? Have you ever been the unfortunate one to receive that trophy, Mike?
No. My dad actually was the one that got it year one in 2014. So originally, it actually didn't even start out for that kind of trophy. Originally, it started out in that first year where we made my dad come out in a diaper, and nobody knew that was going to take place, and we kind of hoped that would take place year after year, but I could tell the league did not want to go that route afterwards, so I kind of created the trophy, and that's kind of what we do each year. So each year I kind of updated our weekly commissioner report, kind of updating where the standings are and who's hovering in the bottom 3, and it kind of also gives incentive for our guys to really plug at it and not finish dead last.
That's the thing, right? You want to find a way to keep all the owners motivated in your league, even the guy who's sitting there at 3-7 after week 10. You want to keep him in it. There's got to be some motivation for him not to come in last, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. And this year in particularly, I kind of added another level to it where I created some promo videos for the championship trophies and our loser trophy to kind of, build behind that. So I'm going to kind of update that on a yearly fashion to kind of keep interest. And that's really what for me, to keep my friends and family kind of interested. I'm just always trying to do things a little different and new and exciting. play around with it. So it piques their interest, and it's not the same old league every year.
And Mike, I will tell you that I watched your promotional video for the loser trophy. I was laughing out loud watching the video. It was really something else, man.
I appreciate it. A lot of my guys love it. My wife shakes her head, she's embarrassed by it, but
I'm sure she is.
I was proud of the work that how it came out. I really enjoyed it.
And I do like what you guys award to the championship team. I mean, there's a lot of leagues out there that will do maybe a championship belt or some kind of trophy that gets passed around, and you guys do a trophy. But I like that you also do a wooden plaque with football cards of each player that was in the starting lineup for the championship team when they won the championship. I love that idea.
Yeah, I think that actually started right after our first year because the person that won the trophy, I let him take it home with him, and he returned it the next year broken. So I had to invest into another trophy, which I think I sent you guys links to. But long story short, I did the plaque trophy this way. They get something to take home with them, and I can award them the trophy, but I also keep that with me so it's safe and, I don't have to worry about replacing it each year.
So, Mike, you guys are a $200 cap, 12-team auction league. If you can, give us a little insight here into your auction strategy. Again, $200 cap, which I think is pretty standard for a lot of leagues. What kind of a strategy do you have? Without giving anything away to the other guys in your league, give us kind of an overview of how you approach the draft every year.
I don't even know if I think I consider myself a lot more savvy fantasy baseball player, even though I'm a bigger football fan. Switching over to an auction football league, I thought it'd be an easy transition to where I would have it down packed on how each year should work and how I should, build my team. But I'll be honest with you, although I've made the playoffs every year, I've not gone deep in it. So I feel like I haven't got it to where I think I'm confident each year going. It was one year I built it where I spent $50+ on 2 running backs each, and I had $100 left to fill my roster. And it was like slim pickings, when I got to the end. So I'm kind of honestly going into this year where I don't want to spend on the quarterbacks. I'm gonna let that kind of come to me and let that play itself out. But I definitely would like to spend high on a top running back, a top receiver, and kind of build around that. I'm typically heavy receiver in these type of leagues. It is a PPR league. So I kind of go that way, but I like to at least get some of the top guys at each position, and quarterback and tight ends I kind of let come to me and see where the buys are and see if I got a guy that I like has upside.
And Mike, by the way, I mean, in your league, you're 38. You're one of the younger guys in this league, right? Because your dad started it along with some of his friends. Those guys have got to be, I would imagine, in their 60s at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to say it's remarkable because there are many leagues that have been around as yours, leagues that started in the 80s or 90s, and with some of these older owners, these guys don't want to change what they do. So it's remarkable to me that you guys were able to essentially convince them to go along with the change from the old-fashioned snake draft to the auction, because a lot of these leagues that have been around for 20, 30 years, I mean, we get phone calls from people who say, yeah, I've been in a league the last 25 years and it's still basic scoring. It's touchdowns only, or something like that. So you guys are changing with the times here.
Yeah. And I that's kind of just, I think in particular that they've known me real well. I've kind of grew up with them as a little kid growing up. And when I said I was moving over to an auction league, there was a handful of guys that I knew I wanted to bring over that were consistent in the redraft league. And, we couldn't bring everybody over because I wanted a good core of my friends to kind of join the league. So we kind of made sure, we got the guys that were really good for the league. And I'll be honest with you, out of the 12 guys that we have in our league, they're all top guys. I mean, we have a great group of guys, and it's a live auction. This year we're renting out a banquet room and a restaurant, and they're setting it up with TVs and screens, and we have an auction board and food catered in and beer. And it's going to be a good time this year. I'm really looking forward to it.
Good, Mike. It's the best day of the year, draft day, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, it's like Christmas. It really is for us. So I enjoy it every year. And I'm literally just got on vacation. When I return next Saturday, I'm literally the next day we're having our live auction. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Good. Well, Mike, I want to wish you luck. And if you don't win the league, I hope you at least come in, let's say, second to last, so that you don't come in and get that trophy.
As long as my name's not on that loser award, I'll be more than happy. I'll take it. But what I will say is my long-term nemesis that I've known for a very long time. He's won a lot of baseball championships in our auction baseball leagues. He was the one that won it last year in our football. So that's the kind of guy I'm gunning for. I don't want him to win the league next year.
All right, Mike. Well, listen, appreciate your time. Pleasure talking to you. Good luck in the league. It's Chaps AFFL, our fantasy football league spotlight tonight. Mike, thanks a lot for joining us.
All right, Paul. Thank you very much.
All right, there he is, Mike Chapman from the AFFL.